Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamada Yapurnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye. Chaitanyam Sarvagam Sarvam Sarvabhuta Guhashayam Yat Sarva Vishayatitam Tasmai Sarva Vide Namaha. Now we are starting the 18th chapter called Tattvamasi Prakaranam, considered to be the most important chapter of this text. Tattvamasi is a famous Mahavakya, and this Prakaranam expounds the meaning of that Mahavakya. The Tikakara begins with a Purva Paksha. Purvasmin prakarane brahmatmesham aparokshi jnanam moksha sadhanam vedante vibhavati iti uktam. Purvasmin prakarane, in the previous chapter, brahmatmesham aparokshi jnanam, immediate knowledge, of which the Vishaya, the object, subject matter is the Brahmatma, the identity of Brahma and Atma, is the subject matter of which knowledge, that aparoksha jnanam, moksha sadhanam, to see myself as Brahman. When I see myself today as a Jivatma, there itself to see myself as Brahman, I have the immediate knowledge, aparoksha jnanam, that I am a Jivatma. So, aparoksha jnanam we are familiar with because the nature of I is aparoksha. Therefore, self-knowledge always is immediate knowledge. Except that in the self, the non-self also is blended. Therefore, the viveka is required between self and non-self. But that I am is aparoksha jnanam. That I exist, I shine, I love myself, does not involve the agency of sense organs in the mind, doesn't depend upon any state as waking, dream, etc. That knowledge does not depend on a time, place or condition, because it is independent of everything. It is self-revealing, therefore self-existing, self-sufficient really. So, where there is the aparoksha jnanam that aham jivatma, there the same quality of knowledge, or same kind of knowledge that I am Brahman should take place. Vedantebhya bhavati. Vedanta focuses attention on I, and vichara deliberates upon what is the nature of I, to separate the non-I from the I. So, Atma and Atma Viveka or Adhyaropa Apavada. That Adhyaropa of non-self has already taken place upon self, Apavada, negation of that, recognizing that. This is what is said in the earlier chapter. So, this is the Vrittanuvada, reiterating what has gone by, which becomes a basis of the question. So, very question is arising, akshepa. Tadayuktam. This akshepa sangati, meaning that it questions the conclusion that you arrived at in the previous chapter. Vedanta is part of Veda. Veda has two sections, the Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. So, how does the knowledge of the subject matter of Karma Kanda take place? Subject matter of Karma Kanda is Swarga, Dharma, and that knowledge is Paroksha Jnanam, meaning that Swarga, even though Vedas describe Swarga, we don't see it as an immediate reality. Vedas tell us what Dharma is, but Dharma is not something that is pratyaksha or something that has been perceived. Swarga Kamadi Vakyavat Paroksha Janakatvat Swarga Kamo Yajeta. Swarga Kama, one desire of Swarga, should perform this yaga. So this knowledge that by performing this yaga I will attain Swarga is something that is to be verified when it actually happens. Oh, that there is Swarga also is something to be verified when actual experience takes place. So, knowledge of Swarga that we gain from Karma Kanda is Paroksha Jnanam. Even knowledge of Dharma that we gain also is Paroksha Jnanam, because Dharma also cannot be perceived, nor can be inferred, can be only known through Vedas. Therefore, the Vakyas of Karma Kanda, like Swarga Kamaha, the one desire of Swarga, those Vakyas only generate indirect knowledge, not immediate knowledge. They call it immediate knowledge, Paroksha Jnanam, indirect knowledge. Therefore, Vedanta also being part of Veda, therefore, the same trend should continue. So, Upanishads also are part of Veda, therefore, just a Shabda of the Karma Kanda only gives rise to Paroksha Jnana, which is what it is known to be. Shabda always gives rise to when something is described. Something that is not experienced described to us, then only a Paroksha, a mental picture takes place. But not an immediate perception takes place. So, in the Vyavahara also, Shabda or the words generate Paroksha Jnana. So the words of Karma Kanda generate Paroksha Jnana, because the subject matter of Karma Kanda is Swarga and Dharma, and they are Paroksha. Therefore, the knowledge of Brahman also is because you follow the same trend. The conclusion that is derived from the nature of the knowledge taking place from the statements of Karma Kanda, same conclusion also is applied to the statement of Jnana Kanda, that also generates Paroksha Jnanam. And this is a very strong opinion even among Vedantins also. Ataha aparoksha jnanaya prasankhyanam eshtavyamidi kechit pratipedire. To transform that paroksha jnanam, something is required called prasankhyanam, meaning meditation. You must revolve that knowledge in your mind. So, Aham Brahmasmi, Paroksha Jnanam takes place, and that itself is revolved in your mind. Contemplate upon, meditated upon your mind. So, Shabda does not give immediate knowledge, but the meditation that takes place based on that statement is what generates immediate knowledge. So prasankhyanam would mean the deep meditation upon Aham Brahmasmi, meaning that it is meditation, dhyanam that generates aparoksha jnanam, not shabda. Iti kechit pratipedire. This is what some say. Tanmata nirakarnena puroktam swaram swasiddhantam sharautam upattitaha sutam upavadayitum prakranantaram arvamanaha. Tanmata nirakarnena. That these statements of Vedanta also generate only paroksha jnanam, that mata. Meditation of the nature of nididhyasanam, which is meant for the elimination of viparita bhavana, is one thing. But meditation upon Aham Brahmasmi that generates the paroksha jnanam is a different thing. The Shravanam generates the paroksha jnanam, or nididhyasanam generates the paroksha jnanam. Shravanam generates paroksha jnanam, because Shravana Shabda, you meditate upon that, and that kind of nididhyasanam generates the paroksha jnanam. So sakshatkara can take place only in the nirvikalpa samadhi. This is a very strong opinion. Puroktam sarvam swasiddhantam. Swasiddhanta is that Shravanam generates aparoksha jnanam. Avarana is removed by Shravanam, samshaya by mananam, and viveda buddhi by nididhyasanam. That's the siddhanta. Where Shravanam is angi and mananam nididhyasanam become anga. Shrautam, siddhantam. That siddhanta stated earlier is based on the statement of Shruti. Remember, the Granthakara kept on quoting the Shruti statement in support of the statement that Granthakara made. So Shruti was the principal means of revealing the knowledge in the previous chapter. Upattitaha. Now same thing with reasoning. Sutam upapadayitam. So Shruti words also may not generate a total conviction there where buddhi requires reasoning also. Upattitaha. Sutam upapadayitam. Upatti means yukti, with the help of reasoning, for clearly delineating or expounding. Prakranantaram arvamana, meaning that in this prakrana, emphasis will be on upapatti, reasoning, to explain what the Shruti statement has revealed. Shruti reveals like agama prakranam in the Mandukya Karika. And then the same thing is then revealed in the subsequent chapters, Vaitatya Prakranam, Dvaita Prakranam, etc. Prakranantaram Arvamana. The author, which is now about to begin this subsequent chapter, Devata Namaskara Vyajena. Vyaja means the context. the pretext, rather the pretext of Devata Namaskara. Vyajena, pretext. And so, outwardly Devata Namaskara is being done, the salutation of Devata. But Antahakarana, Vritti, Bhava, Bhava, Sakshinam, Kutasya Ekadanam, Eva Atmanam, Nitya Paroksham, Brahmvedanta, Brahmeti Pratipadayantah. Na Paroksham Brahma Samiti Suchayanna. So even though openly what is done is the Devata Namaskara or the salutation to the Ishta Devata, which is Brahman here. In that pretext, Antahakana Vritti Bhava Abhava Sakshinam. The Sakshi, the witness, that witness is the presence of the thoughts in the mind and their absence also. So that which illumines the presence and absence of the thoughts in the mind. What is that? Who is that? Kutastha Chidekatanam. That is changeless, of the nature of homogeneous consciousness. Eva Atmanam, that alone is Atma, Nitya Paroksham, Vedanta, Brahm. So that Atma, which is the witness, alone is expounded as Brahman by the Vedanta. Vedanta is Atma. Who is Atma? The Sakshi of the presence and absence of thoughts. So that illumines Bhava, Abhava, Bhava in the waking dream, Abhava in the deep sleep state. That Sakshi is Turiyam, is Brahma. Nitya Aparoksham Vedantaha Brahma iti Pratipadayantaha. Nitya Aparoksham Brahma iti Vedantaha Pratipadayantaha. That Sakshi is immediate, Nitya Aparoksham, always immediate reality is myself, and that is Brahman, is what the Vedantas or Upanishads expound. Na paroksham brahma samarpayanti iti. Upanishads are not content in merely being means of imparting the indirect knowledge, because that does not release the listener from samsara. Upanishad's purpose is to release him. Tanmayam bhagavan shokasya param tarayetu. Tarati shokamatmavit. No Atma crosses the ocean of grief, and that is what the intention of Upanishad is. To impart that knowledge by which the aspirant becomes free from shoka or grief. Grief that is obstructing the manifestation of Ananda, therefore also abides in Ananda. So that is the agenda that Vedanta has, or Vedantas have. If Vedanta is Upanishad, then Vedantas mean Upanishads. Nitya Paroksham Brahma iti Pratipadayantaha. That Atma is Nitya Paroksham Brahma. This is what is expounded by the Vedanta. Na Paroksham Brahma Samarpayana, meaning that the knowledge of Vedanta does not merely end in the knowledge of Brahman as indirect knowledge. It results into knowing Brahman as my very self. It is Suchayan. So by in the pretext of the Devata Namaskara, this is being said. That Vedanta only impart the immediate knowledge of identity of Atma and Brahma. Prakarana Pratipadyam Darshayati. So what is expounded of Prakaranam, the Vishaya, Jiva Brahma Iki also, Darshayati also shows in the first verse, Yeneti. Yenatmana viliyante udbhavanti cha vrittayah Nityavagataye tasmai Namo Dhi Pratyayatmane. Dhi Pratyayatmane also is a part. Tattvamasi Tattvamati Prakaranam. There is also another Pathantara known as Tattvamasi, but it's also Tattvamati. Samyangmati Tattvamati. Yena Atmana Vrittah Viliyante Udbhavanti cha. By which Atma, the Vrittis, the thoughts in the mind, they merge and they arise again, emerge again. Tasmai, Yena Tasmai, to that. Nitya Avagataye Tasmai. That Atma, which is Nitya Avagati Swarupa, Avagati means knowledge, which is of the nature of the immediate knowledge, always knowledge. So that is the eternal knowledge, the Atma, by which all the vrittis they merge into which and emerge from which. Tasmai Dhi Pratyatmane Namaha. Dhi Pratyatma, this is buddhi, again the thoughts. Pratyatma, so that which is the essential self of the dhi or the buddhi, to that Pratyatma, my namaskara. Pratyatmane, Pratyagatmane also is a part here. So Tikakara explains, Vrittah Dhi Parinamaha. Vritti is a well known thing. Modification of buddhi, state of buddhi. Alada Chakramiva Ajñatmana. So, Alada Chakram is a firebrand. So, you have a burning rod at the tip of the rod, which is burning, and in the dark room, you turn it around. You see a variety of forms emerging from that flame, or from that ember, which is the tip of that stick, called alata. And different forms emerge from that, again merge into that. This is how the Tikakara chooses to explain. The emergence and merger of the vrittis from the Atma, because Atma is Pratyagatmana. Atma is also the very nature of those thoughts. It is not that the thoughts emerge from Atma as a different entity and merge into Atma. Atma alone is the thought. Atma alone is each thought. Atma alone appears as a given thought, just as the alata or firebrand appears as different forms, like circles and whatever forms are made in a dark room. At no time that form, which looks like a round, like a form, does not stand apart from the tip, glowing tip of the firebrand. And therefore it is the firebrand alone that manifests as the various forms, various, Alad Chakramiva Ajñatmana. So Agni is the Atma of which Alada Chakra. By that, Yena Chaitanya Jyoti Swarupena Viliyante. Chaitanya Jyoti itself appears as various thoughts, as though Chaitanya Jyoti also undergoes some kind of a motion, and that's why Chaitanya Jyoti alone appears as thought. And so it is not that one thing emerges from the other. It is the same thing appears as emerging and appearing and disappearing. Just as the glowing tip of a firebrand alone is the various forms that you see in the dark room, how those forms emerge from that glowing tip and merge back there. So what's the Atma, nature of these forms? Nothing but that glowing tip, Agni. Ajñātmana eva. And so all those forms are nothing but the tip of the glowing firebrand. Similarly, all the thoughts are nothing but the constant Chaitanya. Firebrand alone appearing, fire alone appearing as those forms, Chaitanya alone appearing as those thoughts. Yena Chaitanya Jyotis Swarupena Viliyante. Therefore, those forms merge as the very glowing tip. In dark room, that glowing tip assumes various forms. When that motion is stopped, then all those various forms, they merge, you can say, or remain as the glowing tip. When it's turned around, that very glowing tip alone appears as various forms. All there is this glowing tip, understand? Even though there appear to be various forms and all, but then what it is just the fire. That entity is called firebrand, but what it is a glowing tip. That's all there is. So, therefore, Vilaya, merging, and again Udbhava, emerging. Only that glowing tip appears as merging, emerging. There is nothing other than that. There are no forms other than that. So these divrittis or thoughts of the mind are none other than consciousness appearing that way, and not that they emerge from that. Consciousness appears as the thoughts and then they cease to be there. Some kind of vibration in consciousness becomes thoughts, and when that vibration is not there, Sushupto viliyante. In Sushupti, when that movement is not there, looks like all the thoughts have merged into consciousness. Avasthantere udbhavanti. When you wake up again, they emerge from that consciousness. Chidatma vyaptaha ityartha. All along those various forms or circles in the dark room are always pervaded by the glowing tip of the fire, so also at all the times. All the thoughts of vrittis of the mind are pervaded by being nothing but the consciousness. Chidatma vyapta. Had there been something other than consciousness, all there is consciousness, appearing as these various vrittis. The pratyaha, the modes of the mind, modes of the buddhi, savasa buddhi vrittaya. So here vrittis, pratyaya, various vrittis, or the various thoughts. But wherever the thought is, that is going to be the consciousness reflected in the thought. That's the nature of thought, to reflect consciousness. Sabhasa buddhi vrittaya. So the pratyaya, various thoughts of the mind, are nothing but those thoughts containing reflected consciousness, which is what illumines those thoughts. So the pratyayatmane. Dhi pratyaya tesham atma dhi pratyayatma tasmai dhi pratyayatmane namaha. Dhi pratyayanam atma, the self of these thoughts of the mind. Because that glowing tip is the self of all those forms, shapes. So consciousness is the self of all these various thoughts. Just as glowing tip appears as various forms, consciousness appears as various thoughts. Tadadhyasa adhisthana ityartha. Something is there, that upon adhishthanam, that is the chit swarupa. So, chidatma, upon that these forms are superimposed. Nitya Avagataye Namaha. So what's the nature of that? The Pratyayatma is Nitya Avagati. Nityaschasau Avagatischaiti Nitya Avagati. Tasmai Nitya Avagataye. Avagati means knowledge. Nitya Avagati is the eternal knowledge. The one that is the nature of the eternal knowledge, to that, and which is the Pratyatma, the essential nature of the these, or the various thoughts of the being, to that Devata, Brahman consciousness, my salutation. So Devata Namaskara is Namaskara to consciousness. In that it is said that what is nothing but consciousness. Therefore, Atma is Brahman, that is consciousness. So that is Suchayan. So that Vedanta reveals the nature of Atma as your very self. Consciousness is revealed as your very self, as the very core of the vrittis also. And not that the Vedantas give you an indirect knowledge, or in Upadesha is not Paroksha Upadesha. Brahman is not taught as Paroksha. Brahman is taught as Aparoksha, or the very self. Idanim Sukte Arthe Mukshunam Vishwasartham. This is what we say. That Vedantas only impart immediate knowledge. Mukshuna Vishwasartham. Mukshu's aspirants would have trust in that, Shraddha. So Acharya Gun Upavarnana Purvakam Sampradaya Shuddhim Kathayati. Sampradaya Shuddhim Kathayati. Hey, this is the Shuddha Sampradaya. This knowledge is coming from a succession of the Guru and Shishya. And what is the glory of that Guru? What is the glory of that Guru from whom this knowledge is coming down? So that also shows the quality of the teaching. When Guru such as that says that Atma is Brahman, and that is trustworthy. So here the teacher wants to create Shraddha, or the trust, in the aspirant, so that because this doubt is there whether Shabda generates Paroksha Jnana, and this debate is going on all the time. That Shabda generates Paroksha Jnanam is so in Vyavahara. In Vyavahara also there is a special case where Shabda generates the Paroksha Jnanam. It says Tattvamasi. So in case of Siddha Vishaya, the Vishaya or entity that is already existing and not recognized, the entity is existing but not recognized as such, so then the Shabda describing tenth man will give immediate knowledge because the listener himself is tenth man. So the hour in Nivrutti happens by the very Shabda. So this is a unique case. Shabda gives Paroksha Jnanam, except when Shabda is about the Siddha Vastu. Atma is Siddha Vastu, therefore Vedantas teach about Siddha Vastu. The Karma Kanda teaches about the Paroksha Vastu, therefore the Shabda give rise to Paroksha Jnanam. But Jnana Kanda talks about the Paroksha Vastu, therefore those words give rise to Paroksha Jnanam. The knowledge will be true to the object of knowledge. Pramatya Vajrayati. So, in a very interesting way, this is being said here. From these verses to derive this meaning also requires some thinking, That in these words, the author is or teacher is saying this, you require tikakar to draw or, help us understand that. Pramatya vajropama yukti samprutaihi Shrutera ratin shataso vachosibhi Taraksha vedath nidhim vishaladhi Namo yatindraya gurur gariyase Guruho gariyase yatindraya namaha. My salutation to Yatindraya, the most exalted Yati, most exalted Yogi, or most exalted, Yogi alone you should say, Yati, or Tapasvi, the most austere, exhausted, the ascetic, you can say, most exalted ascetic, most exalted yogi, Yatindra. Most exalted sannyasi, Guruho gariyase, Guruho gariyas, Guru, the Guru of the Guru. So apparently here the teacher offers salutations to the Guru of the Guru, that is Gaudapadacharya. Namo Yatindraya Guruho Gariyase. My namaskara salutation to the Yatindra, the most exalted ascetic, who is the Guru of my Guru. What did the Guru do? Raraksha. He protected. Vedartha nidhim raraksha. So another Visheshana of Guru, Vishaladhihi. So one of the great intellect, Vishaladhi, Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe. One possessing great intellect, that Guru, not only is a great ascetic, also possesses a great intellect. With that, Vedas Nidhim Raraksha, the Guru protected the Nidhi, the treasure of Vedartha. So what is the intended meaning of the Vedas, which is the Mahavakyatvamasi? So that Vedartha Nidhi, the treasure of the knowledge that the Vedas reveal, he protected because it was under attack by various Purva-Pakshis, what it is that the Vedas reveal. There are various views and various attacks upon the conclusions that Vedantins have. But all those objections arise from intellect only. That the Vedas only impart paroksha jnanam, etc. That it is not, and therefore something needs to be done to make it an aparoksha jnanam. And various other opinions also obtain about what the intended meaning of Vedanta, what it is that Vedantas do, or what the Vedas do. Karma is the main topic, jnana is the main topic, paroksha jnanam, prasankhyanam, whatever. So various views exist about the Vedartha, about the meaning or the subject matter of Vedanta, and that Nidhi, that we treasure, had to be protected. How did he protect? Vacho sebihi, asim the sword, vachas asibihi, by means of the swords of the words, vachas the words themselves become the swords. So you fight, now you have to fight a battle, with the opponents, with the swords. Because they also had weapons. So, aratin vachosibihi aratin pramatya. Aratin means the enemies. Pramatya means defeated, routed. So, this great Guru routed the enemies who were out to attack the very treasure of Vedas. That treasure was protected from being looted away by these enemies by routing them, defeating them. So what is the weapon that they had? So Vajropam Yukti Sambhrutai. They also had yuktis, the Purupakshis of yuktis. And therefore you have to also provide yuktis. But then your yuktis may be strong enough, which cannot be then further defeated. So Vajropam Yukti Sambhrutai. Yukti Sambhrutai, Yukti itself becomes Sambhruta or like a Khatga or like a sword. Vajropama, like Vajra or like thunderbolt. So the yuktis or the reasoning like thunderbolt, which were like the weapons, which were unconquerable weapons of yukti like thunderbolt. So thunderbolt is considered to be the most unconquerable and the strongest weapon, with which Indra defeated all his enemies. Shatasho vachosibhi. So the Asi, the sword of the hundreds of the statements, this great Guru routed the Aratin, the enemies, and protected the Vedartha Nidhi, the treasure of Vedartha. Now explains here, Pramatya Vajropam Yukti Sambhrutaihi Sambhrutaihi Abhedyataya Ghatitaihi. So that which is unconquerable, Abhedya, which cannot be broken down. So Abhedyataya Ghatitaihi Nimshistraihi, by the swords. Shrutehe vachosibihi. So vachosi, the swords of the statements of Shruti are sambhrutahi, which are the unconquerable, unbreakable, So the sword of the Shruti that are unbreakable. Vedanta Vakya Rupa Nimshastrahi. Nimshastra also means sword. So sword of the nature of Vedanta Vakya. Shruti Vachos. So Shruti Vachas, the Vedanta Vakya are like the swords, which are unbreakable. So by the swords of Vedanta Vakya, which are unbreakable, Abhedyataya. Aratin means Shatravaha, Shatrun, enemies. What kind of enemies were they? Vedatva Aranyavasinaha. Wild people. Vedat Aranya. So they were wandering in the forest of Veda Tattva, the duality. Advaita Ratna Paharinaha. Like the robbers who robbed away, snatched away the jewels of the Dvaita Tattva, because they were always dwelling, reveling in the forest of Dvaita and by their reasoning. So they provided strong reasoning, and that's how they routed these Advaitins. So there is a nice verse there, we saw in Rishikesh. written below Shankaracharya's shrine there. Bhaktaram asadya Saraswati Swata Samanvitas Babhuva. What is it? Asid, Samanvita Asid Swat. So Bhaktaram asadya, gaining which Bhakta? Saraswati also gained its own meaning. Because all these fellows had polluted the meaning of what Saraswati was saying, and then this Bhakta, when Shankaracharya came, that was a book about Shankaracharya. Here Bhashyakara says about his Guru's Guru, Viditatmananda, those who are dwelling in the forest of the duality, Advaita Paharinaha, and those who there were robbed away the jewels of Advaita, Raratin Shatrun, Pramatya, defeating them, routing them, Samulya, they were rooted out, so uprooted, the Shatrus were uprooted. So when you remove the root, then it cannot grow anymore. You Vishaladihi, Apratya Dirgha Buddhihi, one having the Apratya, which irresistible buddhi, which cannot be resisted, cannot be defeated. So one possessing that Vishaladi, so not only great intellect, but the intellect that cannot be overpowered. Vedanta Nidhim, Vedanta Manjushagatam Nidhim. Vedanta Manjusha. Manjusha means a big box in which you store things, So Vedanta is the Manjusha, in which so many Ratnas are there, Mahavakyas and so many Vakya Ratnas are there, and that is a very treasure. Nidhi etasmin sanavdi. So anyway, Nidhi is interpreted as Brahman. Nidhi ate asmin sanavdi nidhi advayam brahmatma tattvam. So Vedantartha nidhim. So Nidhi means brahmatma tattvam, Vedantartha. So what is the artha, or what is the purported meaning of Vedanta is Brahma. Or Brahmatma Tattvam, the identity of Brahmanatma. So Brahmatma Tattvam, Advayam Brahmatma Tattvam, Raksha. Advayam Brahmatma Tattvam. The non-dual truth of Brahman, which is Atma, which is Brahman, Raksha, he protected. So there were these enemies who came with all kinds of arguments establishing Dvaita as the truth revealed by Vedanta, and so my great Guru came with all the right arguments which were unconquerable swords. With that, he routed all these enemies and established again the reign of the non-dual, truth. Tam raraksha tasmai yatindraya guroho gariyase param gurave namayati yojana. That Parama Guru, to him my salutation. That is the Gaudapadacharya. So says that this is coming from which source? Coming from there. What I am telling you has its origin there. And that's why you must trust what I am saying. You may not trust what I am saying if it comes just from me. But what I am saying comes from that source, therefore you trust. Evam namaskara vyajena prakaranaartham swasampradaya shuddhim cha uktva. In this manner, the pretext of the namaskara, prakaranaartham, prakaranartha, what is the meaning, or what is the intended, what is conveyed by prakaranam? The Brahmatma Aikyam, swasampradaya shuddhim cha. And that this is coming from great teacher Gaudapadacharya. This is the Shuddha Sampradaya. This Sampradaya is a pure Sampradaya, untainted Sampradaya, and therefore, number one, that Vedanta reveals this truth, and that is coming down from the most revered and trustworthy the Gurus. So these two things were stated in the previous verse. Prakaranartham was stated, identity of Jiva, Atma and Brahma. So Sampradaya, that this parampara begins from or comes from the great Guru. Tattvamasyadi Vakyadeva Aparoksha Jnanam Atmaniti Prakarana Siddhantam. Tattvamasyadi Vakyadeva. All that you need is Vakya, Mahavakya, Tattvamasi. So Mahavakya suggests Tattvamasi is all that you need for Aparoksha Jnanam Atmani. For Aparoksha Jnanam to take place in the self, all that is needed is Mahavakya. Idi Prakarana Siddhantam. Nothing more than that. Mahavakya itself does the job of creating in you Aparoksha Jnanam. You don't require Prasankhyanam, nothing else is required. Iti Prakarana Siddhantam. So this is Siddhanta of this Prakarana. The theme or the conviction arrived at in this Prakarana is that all that is required for generating Aparoksha Jnanam is Mahavakya and nothing more. So Prakarana Siddhantam Tavadaha. What is Siddhanta? What is ultimate conclusion in this Prakaranam is being said here, Nitya Mukta iti. Nitya Muktasya Devasmi Ityevam Chenna Bhaven Matihi Kimartham Shravayatyevam Matruvachshrutiradruta. Nityamukta stadeva asmi iti evam mati bhaved na bhaved chet. If by the Mahavakya or the teaching of Vedanta, this mati or the knowledge that Nityamukta stadeva asmi, I am Sat or existence ever free, that is what, if that knowledge does not take place by listening to the statement of Vedanta, if Vedanta is not able to create this knowledge that all I am is Sat existence, Nitya Sat eva hamasmi, that I am ever there, I am ever Sat, was, is and will be, whether ignorance or knowledge, all that is Sat, that's what I am, Nitya Mukta. If the words of Vedanta are not able to create this mati of the knowledge, then kimartham shavayati evam, then why does Shruti keeps on make you hear this again and again? That's what the Shruti says, one Mahavakya in one way or the other. So all the only agenda that Shruti has is to only utter this Mahavakya. All that Shruti does is, it wants the aspirants to listen to Mahavakya again and again and again and again. That's all it says. Like a mother which keeps on repeating what is beneficial for the child again and again. Child does not say it again, different way, but same thing is being stated. So Shruti says the same thing, maybe in different ways, in different words. Matruvat, that's what a mother does. Shruti adruta or adarat. So the Shruti, most well respected Shruti, like mother, says that again and again. Why should it say if that did not convey the meaning to the child? Why would a mother keep on saying something to the child? If the words of the mother did not create an apprehension, a comprehension or conviction of the child, understanding of the child, if the words could not create understanding, if the mother knows that my words will not create understanding, then why should she say it and repeat it? The fact that mother keeps repeating a statement to a child is with the conviction that these words will create the understanding of the child. So Shruti also, like the mother, keeps on repeating Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi. Why? because she knows that that will create the right understanding in the aspirant. So the fact that Shruti says this again and again in a number of places, Mahavakya, that would not be had these words were not effective in creating immediate knowledge. So this is like Arthapatti. Why should Shruti have been saying this again and again? Same thing. If those words were not able to create the knowledge. So Tika says, Sadeva ahameva sat iti. So Nityamukta Sadeva asmi iti. So that equation is both ways. Sadeva ahameva sat. Sat I am sat. Iti asmi nityamukta, and therefore nityamukta. Sat means existence. To be is my nature, I always was, is and will always be. If I always was, I am and I will be, then nature cannot be something that is perishable. Natvivaham jatunasam natvam neme janadipaha nachevana bhavishyamah sarve vayamatah param. Arjuna, it is not that I never was, I always was. Not that you never were, you always were. And all these, if all the people were always there, and they will always be there. So you can see all these fellows being born and dying. And still Lord Krishna says they were all there, they are there, and they will always be there. Then there is something that does not get born, does not die. That Nitya Vastu is an essential nature of you, I, and all this. Iti evam ched tadaparoksha mati Vedanta vakyad na bhaved. So, tattvamasi comes from sat. Sadeva Swami idamagrasi. What is tat? That thou art. What is that? That is that sat. What is sat? Jagat Karanam. That which the Jagat was before its creation, meaning that always was. Self-existing. The way it can never not be. And that's what you are. That's what Shruti says. So that is why it begins with Sat. Although Mahavakya is Tattvamasi, but what is the Tat? Tat refers to a Sat. That one. That Sat, Jagat Karanam, that's what you are. And if that statement of the Shruti were not capable of creating the immediate knowledge, in Shvetiketu I am Sat, 9 times, why should Shruti repeat it? Not once. And so, Kimartam Shravet Evam Matruma Shruti Adruta, again and again, why should the Shruti make him hear this? Evam Siddhavat Nirdeshena Tattvamasi Shruti. Tattvamasi, you are that. That means Siddhavat, you already are. Here Shruti is not talking about something that has to happen. That you will become Brahma, it is not so. You are Brahma, Siddhavastu. So Siddhavat Nirdeshena. Asi says that you are. So Siddhavat, it is Nirdesha indicated, the indication is of something that is already existing. You already are that, or Sat or Brahman. Iti Shruti. Every Mahavakya talks about Siddhavastu. Aham Brahmasmi. Tattvamasi. Ayam Atma Brahma Asti. So in each case, what is talked about, the subject matter is what is already existing. And that is a self. And that self is Brahman or Sat or Chit or Ananda. Kimartham Kasmad Adruta Adaravati. And Shruti says with all other. So Shruti also says lot commitment. And lot of commitment with lot of devotion, the Shruti says. Punah punah mata eva putra hitaishini shraved. Depends on who tells you something. There is no rule that because somebody says the sentence that it should necessarily create the right knowledge. That statement may be coming from somebody who is not necessarily your well-wisher. When a statement comes from a well-wisher, then it is meant for your well-being. And who can be a greater well-wisher than mother? So Shruti always is called mother. And then Shruti says, with devotion, with commitment. So Shruti has only agenda that this knowledge should take place in Shvetaketu. Shruti, like mother, wants that the son or the child must get released from dukkha, from bondage. And therefore, it must become free. And that freedom is not something to be acquired. Freedom is an existing fact. That's why you should own up. So this is the teaching for owning up something which is already there. You are the 10th man, is owning up what it already is. So Siddhavat, that Brahman he already is. You have to own up the fact, that's all. You don't have to become, you have to recognize. And that way it is possible. Since Shvedika is already Brahman or Sat, therefore it is possible for him to recognize that he is Sat. This was already a 10th man, therefore he can recognize that I am 10th man. So this is Siddha Vastu. If you to become, you to search for, then it's a different matter. If karma is involved, then you do not know, there is uncertainty about the outcome. But here Shruti is only revealing an existing fact about the listener. It's a fact. That being the case, why should it not become evident to the listener? And so the fact that Shruti, putra hitaishini mata eva, like mother who only wants the welfare of the child, Shruti also keeps on saying again and again, 9 times right there. Why should it say that? Had it not been true? Or if Shruti knew these words will not be effective, then why should it say again and again and again? You may say once and let it go. But Shruti says again and again and again because Shruti knows that these words are going to be effective. If not once, twice, 3 times, X number of times. So that is how this has to be the theme of this Shruti. Is what? Nityamukta Sadevasmiti. So, Brahmatmadhi, the identity of Brahmanatma, is the theme of the Shruti. Has to be. Otherwise, Shruti would not be repeating this again and again. So, this is how the sorts of the yuktis are being now presented to us. As to why this has to be the theme or the agenda or the purpose of the Shruti. We will continue. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Madaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Murtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.